welcome to this week's episode of the CI Sports Zone. I'm Christopher Husling with a whole slate of people joining with me today.
Woo-hoo!
We got Thomas Garverick,
Let's go.
Jonathan Michael, and Patrick Michael Cunningham III. Fellas, once again, great weekend of football. We're starting off here with some of the local high school games. And is there anything you guys want to preface with before we get rolling here? Or
Well, we're going to talk about the Olympia Murrah Forsyth game. I just want to put this on record. I literally called this game last week. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, exactly.
10 seconds into the show.
10 seconds into the show. I was so excited. I cannot wait to talk about that game.
Well, one thing I will say is that running teams win in October and they win in November. Two of the teams that we're going to talk about, Peoria Notre Dame and Olympia, two ground and pound teams, put up some of the biggest wins all across Central Illinois in Week 7. So that was kind of the overall theme of the week is what I saw.
All right, well, getting rolling here with our high school recaps from the this last Friday. We're going to start off here with Bloomington at Peoria Notre Dame.
This was definitely the most shocking result of the week, in my opinion, for sure.
When I showed up to that game, I was on the far side of the field away from the only scoreboard, and it was about 40-13, but I couldn't see who it was, and I read the scoreboard wrong. I thought it was Bloomington, and when I saw that it was P&D, I was shocked to say the least. I wouldn't have been shocked if they won the game. It's how they won the game by 30.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns from Jay Marizets. Ben Lutz had 3 as well. Dallas Harder had 2 more. And, really the big thing for P&D right now is, again, obviously, they're a little bit of a smaller team roster size in the Big 12. But, again, they still got a good amount of running backs that are still healthy and being able to run the football. I know that was a big thing when I was talking with Pat Armstrong before the season is how long can they stay healthy? Can they stay healthy for the rest of the year? And, so far, looks like, a lot of their main guys are still on the field and, doing great things. So that's great news for P&D. Again, obviously, you don't want to see anyone go down, especially at this part of the season or at all during the year. But the thing about P&D is they have so many rushers. They go 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 deep in terms of their running attack. So, yeah, they just grounded down Bloomington, and that was a huge win for P&D, who's now 5-2, and they are definitely playoff eligible.
And, Jonathan, you talked about it. It took us 7 weeks, but we finally got true fall-like football weather here in Central Illinois.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
It was awesome. I got the vest on today because it's finally chilly. I love it, but you said it. The teams who could run the football are the teams who had the big surprising wins. Again, we're going to talk about Olympia and what they were able to do. But that is the name of the game down the stretch here, is when you can run the football and control tempo, control the clock in these colder temperature games, especially when we get into the postseason, those are teams that are going to be tough to beat in the playoffs.
Well, and it's just so demoralizing as a defense when you have to face that kind of team. When you're facing a team that will go, they're going to go for it on 4th down out of that kind of offense, and they just need 2.5 yards every play, run down the play clock. I mean, it's just got to be so demoralizing for a defense when you just really have no answer for that, and they just burn clock and just break down your will to stop them.
Yeah, and I had a football coach one time, kind of building off what you were talking about, Patrick. He was telling us that you only need 3 yards every play. Yes. So if you can, no matter what, gain 3 yards in your run game, your offensive line is getting a good push. Which I didn't watch the whole game, but watching some of those clips in there, Peoria Notre Dame's offensive line was moving that line of scrimmage. So if you can move the line of scrimmage 1 yard, your back is bound to fall for at least 2 more. So there's that 3 yards you need, and every 4 plays you're gaining 12 yards. That's a first down every time. So, and as you guys said, it's just demoralizing when someone can just do that to your defense, literally the whole game. So, kind of a little bit of a closer game that we were also looking at is this. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, Thomas, the Murrah Forsyth versus Olympia game, as I hit the right button to pull that up here. Sorry. I'm still getting used to the four camera setup. The buttons are in different spots.
Full house, baby. Full house.
You know what, guys? I will say this year, that was by far the best atmosphere for a high school football game I've been to all year.
Thomas did text our group chat.
It was electric,
this
man.
is awesome.
It was awesome. You saw the student section. It was a wide out. But the whole community was out for this game because it was their biggest game of the year. And I think what was most surprising about Olympia beating Monroe Forsyth, who was ranked number 1 in 3A going into this game, was Olympia was losers of 3 straight games.
Yeah.
Coming into this one, and they controlled it essentially from start to finish. I was in the same boat as Patrick. When I pulled up to this game late in the second quarter, I saw 28-14, and I was coming in from the far side, and I'm like, there's no way Olympia's up 28-14. I zoomed into the scoreboard, and I'm like, Olympia's up 28-14. I texted Kurt and Patrick, and I said, guys, this might be a really special night for Olympia. So really great game for Olympia. Colin Simpson was unbelievable in this game. Just insane. So really cool moment for the Spartans.
What a cool little flea flicker type play there too. That's awesome. I love.
Yeah, that's the thing about this triple
bit of
option
trickery.
here is the fact that they have 2 quarterbacks who can throw the football, and so on that 2-point conversion, Colin Simpson pitches it to the backfield, and then they can have fun trickery plays like that. But Monroe Forsyth had no answers.
Yeah.
I was talking to fans at halftime; they could not stop him.
546 rush yards for Olympia overall.
I was going to ask if you had stats.
Yeah, Caden. Again, it's easy to mix up. There's the 2 Cadens. There's Caden Collins, Caden Simpson. Caden Simpson had 4 touchdowns. Caden Collins had 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brendan Hardiman 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then Jimmy Lawler 223 yards. I'm not exactly sure if he had any touchdowns. I think all of his might have got vultured by Simpson, Hardiman, and Collins. But yeah, all those 4 great athletes. And again, we talk about obviously these 2 teams, Olympia, P&D, that really run the ball a ton. Going into the season, I knew that these were 2 of probably the most stacked offensive lines from top to bottom all around the area. So again, it is no surprise to see that the offensive lines, for Olympia, that's guys like Asen Aldis and Blaine Cale Haley and a lot of other guys for Olympia. For P&D, that's guys like Noah Takis, like Brady Mullins, like Mitch Sager, Jacob Cordy. I mean, those guys are really doing some great things week in and week out, and helping their teams to some of the big wins that obviously we're talking about here now because of those guys.
Well, and also like you guys talked about it with that triple option, that can be really tough to defend. We see with the service academies running it a lot, and it's all about discipline. And if you're the more disciplined team running the triple option, it's really hard to stop. You have 4 people, at least 3 people each play. You have to worry about having the football. And so
we should run the CI Sports Zone triple option with the 4 of us in the room here.
Just so you know, I'm the biggest advocate for triple option. That
I
is
saw a
real
really
football.
good video of this, like a college video of these guys who did like the tush push, and it was like going viral. It was hilarious. Like they knocked on a girl's door.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I did see that.
I'm like, that we should do that. That'd be so funny. But let's do a triple option style.
But yeah, back to what I was saying. Like, if you can run, if you're a disciplined football team, it's so hard as a defense to try to stop it. There's just so many different players and factors you have to key in on. And obviously with 500 rushing yards, it doesn't matter. That's just impressive. And you were just the more disciplined team that game pretty much essentially is what that kind of shows to me, just obviously seeing the score and what offense they're running.
Yeah, Monroe Forsyth, they were very frustrated. You could tell. I was on their sideline for a bit when I pulled up, and I could just feel the frustration. They're like, we can't stop this. There was no answer for it.
In a lot of ways, it's also the great equalizer when you're a smaller school. For like Peoria Notre Dame runs it too.
Yep.
They've got 500 kids. They're in a conference with schools like Normal Community's got 2,000. Peoria High, who always has a bunch of great athletes. Normal West always solid. Bloomington's on the come up again. And if you're just the more disciplined team, and kids today not used to seeing it, especially at the bigger schools, especially in the Big 12, and even down at Olympia, that's a much smaller conference. But a lot of schools don't run this anymore, and it's the further you get away from the 20th century, less and less are running it, which means you're not used to practicing against it, and you can practice all week long. Coaches tell you all the time. It's not the same as a team. You can't replicate it because the other team's running it all year. Your practice squad kids are like, I've never done this before.
Well, and also it's like with these smaller schools, you also don't have as big of offensive linemen generally. Now, you can still get – so they're also nice for the smaller schools who have those smaller, more agile offensive linemen who can pull – they can, and you just don't really want them to set up against a 310-pound Alabama commit, whatever. You get what I'm saying. You don't really.
Well, now Alabama's running direct QB snaps to their linemen.
Yeah.
Nick Saban's tweeting like, "Hey, are we gonna do this more often or what?" But I will say, so Olympia's what 4-3 now, I believe.
Yes.
They're 4-3. They
So-
play Pleasant Plains this week, who's
Yep.
also 4-3. And so, you got to refocus because
Yep.
both teams need this win.
Correct.
Their last game of the season is against a team that is 0-7, so they'd probably be playoff eligible. But man, they would love to be 6-3 to help them with seeding.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, and even if Olympia gets in, let's say they're 5-4, that's a
They're getting
matchup.
in.
That's a matchup nightmare
Yes.
for whoever.
Well-
Now they're gonna have to travel and go play somebody who's obviously very, very good. But I'm sorry, I would not want to see Olympia round 1.
Well,
Yeah,
fans,
well,
that
all-
happened a few years ago.
Yeah, well, also, I was going to say, Olympia, they've had some good playoff success. I mean,
Yeah.
back in 2022 and 2023, I think that they were like 5-4 one year, 6-3 another year, and both times they went to the quarterfinals. So, again, it's really, I think Olympia probably isn't going to be intimidated by who they face because, again, obviously, Olympia will most likely probably be in Class 3A. Maroa Forsyth is number 1 in Class 2A. So, again, Olympia, if they prove they can be, hey, we can beat 2A number 1, we can probably beat just about any team most likely in Class 3A. So, again, it's a Spartans team that is going to have a lot of confidence, I think.
Absolutely. I just want to say this really quickly. I've seen a lot of really good uniforms over the year. I love those powder blues.
Those powder blues.
And the
were beautiful.
Argyle
Olympia.
pattern on the helmet,
Yeah.
too, is really sharp.
And I told that to them on the sideline. I looked at them and I said, I'm a sucker for baby blue. And I'm like, those jerseys were so clean. Probably my favorite uniform combination I've seen all year. So shout out to Olympia. Heck of a win for the Spartans.
All right, well, kind of moving forward here, another game we all were talking about last week that we all kind of had big hopes for, and I watched this whole football game, and I really wasn't super disappointed. Was this
Now,
Washington?
Christopher, did you watch it on CIProud.com or
Of
the
course,
WMO?
of course, I watched it on CIProud.com. Best place to watch football is what I've been told.
That's
so,
right.
Kind of moving forward here with that Washington Dunlap game, which it was just very, very good football game. It got kind of interesting near the very end there. With
What a field goal. I
some-
love when there's a clean high school field
always.
goal operation.
And then some penalties at the end of the game that kind of got some people heated on the sidelines. But good football game, and I enjoyed watching it from start to finish.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's now 24 straight Mid-Atlantic wins for Washington.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which is unbelievable. Again, this was, I think, probably going to be their toughest one of the season. Now they still, I believe, got Morton in Week 9, so that should be also a good game. Morton should give him a strong test. But again, this really opened up the door for a third straight Mid-Atlantic title for Washington. Again, they relied on who, Will Freeman. Over 100 yards and a touchdown again. For him. And again, Max Sutter for Dunlap did do his thing, 4 catches, 96 yards, but he didn't absolutely torch Washington. Again, Sutter caught a touchdown, made it kind of close, got a 2-point conversion, made it 23-15, but that Washington defense shut them down in the fourth quarter. Dunlap has, a couple third, fourth down conversions they just couldn't quite get. And, Washington defense kind of held strong. So both teams now 6-1. I think both teams, probably in the running to host a first-round playoff game. Dunlap, though, definitely has the tougher path. They need to find a way to bounce back and win, I think, at least one of two, if not both, against Morton and Metamora in Week 8 and Week 9.
Yeah, and watching that game, Freeman, the running back, so fun to watch as a high school player. He runs hard. He was running people over. I really enjoy watching a hard-nosed running back at the high school level. He's a big looking dude.
Well, what's so hard to defend about Washington, too, is they just wear you down. I mean,
Yes.
they are physical on the line. Their backs are physical, and they will run the ball, not as much as P&D and Olympia, but they will run it a lot. And I have seen it many, many times over the last few years, where by the third, fourth quarter, teams are just gassed. Again, I wasn't at that game. I was calling El Paso Gridley Eureka on Friday. But if I had to guess, Dunlap defense was probably feeling it a little bit more in that third and fourth quarter, trying to stop Washington.
Yeah, and kind of our last game we are going to kind of talk about here is this preview. Jonathan, what are you looking forward to for this upcoming game?
Yeah, so this is our WMBT Game of the Week. This week it's Metamora at East Peoria, and now this is the fourth straight game. East Peoria has been right on the cusp. Again, they're 4-3, coming off a loss to Morton last week. It was an absolute shootout, 66-32. They lost. Dalton Oakman, though, big bright spot. 5 touchdown passes in that game, over 300 yards. A lot of them to Aiden Hindert. So again, East Peoria, it is better than what they showed against Dunlap and Washington. So they're kind of getting a little bit more momentum again. So again, all eyes on EP to see if they can pick up that 5th win. But I don't want to bury the lead here. Metamora has been playing some really fine football over the last few weeks. They beat Limestone 49-13 last week, handled them pretty easily. They beat Morton in that shootout back in week 4, 43-40. It is an offense that, again, has always been pretty good, but I think this might be one of the better, if not best, Metamora offenses I've seen in my time here in Central Illinois since about 2019, 2020 or so. So again, it should be a great game. I think it's going to be a lot of scoring, a lot of offense on both sides. 2 teams can light it up.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Metamora's offense is one of the most balanced in the middle line.
Yeah.
With Stephen Petrie at the quarterback position, Jadon Cranford at the running back position. They can beat you. They can grind out drives on the ground, but then they can air it out. Stephen Petrie throws one of the best deep balls, I think, in my opinion, in the middle line.
Yeah, he has been throwing it really well. Kylan McMillan, Braden Bittner have been making some big plays for Metamora for sure. One thing to keep an eye on is, again, I know the Redbirds have been a little bit banged up. I know their running backs especially. I think Keon Allen, Jadon Cranford, at least the past few weeks have been a little kind of iffy in terms of whether or not they're on the field. So again, we'll monitor that. We'll see see if they're in uniform on Friday night. But if not, that's definitely something. It might tilt the scales maybe a little bit more towards East Peoria. Could make it even a closer game potentially, but we'll see.
Well, and for East Peoria, it's a program that has just been on the cusp of getting back to the playoffs. This is going to be a desperate team the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Haven't had a playoff appearance since I went back to their season summaries. It's either 2012 or 2013.
2012, I think.
2012, yeah. And then I think if you look back the last few decades, they've only got 4 or 5 playoff appearances in the last 3 or 4 decades. They wanted this so bad. They've been on the cusp the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a desperate team that's going to pull out all the stops these last couple of weeks.
And also keep an eye, too, in Week 9, East Peoria plays Pekin. So if Pekin beats Limestone this week, which, again, I think obviously they'll be favored.
Sure.
Pekin only beat Kenton by 10 this past week, though.
Yeah.
So, but, again, if East Peoria does lose, again, they still got one more chance, and it could be a 4-4 Pekin versus 4-4 East Peoria. Now, if East Peoria
Where's that game being played at?
That is at Pekin Memorial Stadium, which is also a great place for great atmosphere as well.
Yeah, I know. I've always been on record in saying Pekin their student section is always unbelievable. That would be a heck of a finale for Week 9. Basically, essentially a play-in game, potentially, to get to 5 wins to be playoff eligible for maybe East Peoria and Pekin.
Well, and just also from a logistics standpoint, it's one of the only grass fields left, and Week 9 always comes question mark weather-wise.
Yep.
You can get a lot of snow, wind, rain, something in Week 9 that just adds a variable to the game that just anything can happen.
That's what makes this time of year.
If we get snow in Week 9, I think I'd cry.
My second year here, or my first or second year here in either 22 or 23, Pekin had senior night Week 9, and it was 38 degrees and raining. It was awful. And a lot of teams now here in Central Illinois have senior night Week 1 or 2. And I remember Chris being like, who is holding senior night right now? I'm like, because you just never know what you're going to get weather-wise in Week 9.
My senior night in high school, it was like 20 degrees and raining, so I understand. But, my poor family was probably freezing out there. But that was I had never heard that. And then I was talking with Richwoods. I was doing a story on Richwoods, and their athletic director's like, yeah, next week's our homecoming. I'm like, it's week 2. So then I got back, and the first thing I did was I texted Patrick and Thomas, and I said, is this a normal thing out here? Or
it started to become one.
Yeah, I think after COVID is when I think the senior nights kind of started to get bumped up earlier in the year. Homecoming, I think, is usually more or less still around the same time of the year, usually late September. But yeah, that is one thing for sure. Senior nights definitely moved up earlier in the year.
Well, and
for not just football, for all sports, really.
Well, not just weather-wise. I've talked to a lot of coaches about it, and sometimes, Week 8, Week 9, you've got a lot on the line, and you need your players focused, so you'd rather have that game and a lot of the distractions of friends and family and extended family coming in to watch you, especially if you're a senior. Just kind of doing that earlier in the year in Week 2, Week 3, and by Week 8, Week 9, it's all about that game. For instance, if you have a 4-4 Pekin and a 4-4 East Peoria.
Oh man, you bring in a senior night.
Oh yeah.
That? Oh.
Well, and then also I was talking when I was at Richwoods. They were telling me also you run the risk of people getting injured, so you also don't want a senior to miss his senior night because Week 4 he, God forbid, gets hurt, hurts his ankle or something like that, and can't play.
Sure.
So that's what they said, and that was another good point I saw. Well, kind of, Jonathan's a busy man, so he's got things to do, fellas.
Hey, no golf tournaments to head out to today.
Really quickly, Jonathan, obviously there's
Yes.
2 weeks of high school football left in terms of the
Yep,
regular
that's right.
season. Who are some teams, I know I'm putting you on the spot right now, who
Hit me.
you're like, hey, this week is a must-win for them to either stay alive or to be in the hunt or whomever. Who are the teams that have to have a win this
Well,
week?
for sure. I mean, yeah, Pekin is obviously in a must-win situation. They're at 3-4 right now. They got Limestone this week, East Peoria next week. I think those are two winnable games. I think Pekin can definitely get in there. As far as other must-win games, DMAC, they got a big win against Warrensburg Latham last week. They're now 4-3. Now Ridgeview Lexington, I don't know if that would say that's a must-win game. Ridgeview's been playing really good.
Yeah.
One that you'd like to have to avoid having to win in week 9. I think there's some teams I think that need to win for momentum purposes. Normal U-High, again, they won last week. They're 3-4, so they need to win out to get in the playoffs. Same thing with Elmwood Brimfield. They're trying to come back from a really tough loss to Ottawa Marquette. They had to go on the road to Macomb, which is going to be a tough one for the Trojans. So
That's a really
they are
tough
in a
game.
must-win situation this week as well.
I would say U-High, I've kind of said this all year, especially to Thomas in our newsroom. U-High at 3-4 is about 7 points from being 5-2.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had 2 losses early in the year by combined
6
4
points.
points, 6 points.
6 points. I look at it right now,
Two
yeah.
state-ranked teams. I mean, that is a much better team than their record
Oh,
suggests.
yeah. They're going to be dangerous in the playoffs for sure.
All right, well, before you get out of here, Jonathan, it's time for your favorite part of our segment here. We're going to take a look at our mascot.
the bracket, baby.
We are down to the
We are down to the
championship.
final 2. So last week, IVC over Princeville. That was a very interesting finish, as at one point Friday morning, IVC was up by 400 votes, and Princeville ended up losing by 100. So that was a
made a big
really
push.
good matchup. And then Elmwood Farmington beating Elmwood Brimfield. They kind of handled that matchup pretty handedly. So IVC and Farmington are going at it. I will be going down to both of those schools to be doing a little hype video for them tomorrow and Wednesday. So we're going to have more for that.
Nice.
IVC's off to an early lead so far, but as I said, Princeville pulled in 300 votes in 5 hours. So anything's possible. It's still, voting started this morning. Voting will go through Friday at 3 p.m. And we're going to hold on to the winners for about a week-ish so we can let the schools, if the schools want to do something. But we will announce the winners by next Friday, probably maybe before that, depending on what the school wants to do.
Okay, so
But
we will not be
we are
revealing.
not revealing this week.
Ooh,
We will
breaking news.
we're going to let it sizzle a little bit on the
I like it.
and get the anticipation up.
Christopher.
So like I said,
Anticipation.
yeah. Next week we'll get those results out depending on what the winner wants to do, and then other than that, go to ciproud.com. It's under voting. Go click on the high school mascot. Let's see how many votes we can get this week. We had 2,000 last week, which was double
Yeah,
what we had
that
gotten
was
the rest of
impressive.
the bracket.
That was cool.
So it's really cool to see those numbers. So just continue to go out, show support, vote. You can vote only once for this finals round. So just go and get your vote. And
I'm really happy we're not revealing the winner this week because I am off this Friday. This is the one Friday I'm off. I'm going back to my alma mater, Ohio University, proud Bobcats. So I was like kind of bummed. I'm like, I'm going to miss the championship reveal. So now I get to see it
Don't
in
worry,
week 9.
I did this just for you, Thomas.
And
I knew.
is why we are co-hosting the show.
All right, well, we are going to get out of here. We will be back here with some college football, so thank you guys for joining us.
Bye, James Franklin.
Hello and welcome back to the CI Sports Zone. I'm Christopher Huslig. Joining along with me is my co-host, Thomas Garverick.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah. Nope, that's the wrong one.
Oh, Jonathan just left us. He's out of here.
Oh my goodness, my thing.
Oh, that's
is
the
not,
bracket
My
challenge.
thing is not. I am sorry.
Wow, Christopher's trying
There we go.
trying to boot Patrick out of
There we
here.
go.
Unreal.
Is my mic on? There we go. Now we got the mic on.
Hey, technology.
Hey, I'm
Thought you-
sorry. Okay.
Thought y'all kicked me out the door like James Franklin.
Man, this is just
Before we get into that, let's obviously we're going to start with that with college football.
No, we're not, Patrick. I decided. No, I'm just kidding.
I decide.
yeah, that's right. Christopher Cooper makes all the decisions here.
I just want to say,
Please
just
take the floor.
for perspective, I know this seemed inevitable to every Big Ten and college football fan. This seemed like this was coming for a while, but I just want to kind of bigger picture here. They were 10 seconds away from a national championship berth this calendar year. They were 3-0 and playing Oregon in a whiteout game with 110,000 people with 11 minutes left in a game where they were up by 2 scores. That was 2.5 weeks ago. I know this felt inevitable for a long time because they couldn't win the big game, but I mean, unbelievable collapse that losses to UCLA and Northwestern were finally what got him the boot.
And I was talking with Patrick during this last commercial break, and I saw a meme the other day or yesterday that said the best job to have in the United States is a fired college football coach because he's getting paid $50 million to not do anything anymore. Obviously, it sucks. It sucks for him, you know. Yeah. I don't know if his family situation, but you know he's got a family. He's got to live, and it's never fun. But
I think he'll live just fine with $50 million.
I was going to say he'll be sitting pretty, and I'm sure he'll find another job doing something. He's not the worst coach we've ever seen in our lives. Obviously, like Patrick said, calendar year he was.
I think unfortunately we live in a world where it's what have you done for me lately?
Yes,
and James Franklin inherited a program that was just ravaged, decimated with all the Joe Paterno stuff. I mean, that feels like eons ago when all that stuff went down. And James Franklin came in and restored Penn State into a prominent school in the Big Ten. And I don't know, I'm indifferent about him getting fired, right? Like, obviously, he couldn't win the big game. Like, there was no secret about that. You know, we came on here and I said the combination of James Franklin and Drew Aller isn't going to get things done. They're just not going to beat the Ohio States. They're not going to beat the Indianas, the Oregons. But to Patrick's point, it's crazy that literally 3 Saturdays ago, Penn State was leading Oregon in overtime. They just needed one stop. Had Oregon on 4th down in overtime. If they get that stop, they win the game. The whole narrative's different. They probably don't go on the road and lose to UCLA. Obviously, Drew Aller gets hurt. Who knows what that does? But it's just, I've never seen anything like this in sports where a team was so close to having a breakthrough, and then 3 weeks later, their quarterback is out for the year, and then James Franklin's gone. Never seen anything like it. I mean, we talk about momentum in sports, but that Oregon-Penn State game changed that football program's history.
Well, not just
forever.
You talked about them having 4th down in overtime. I go back to the point of they were up by 2 scores with 11 minutes to play. Like,
well, Oregon was up 2 scores.
Well, sorry, Oregon was up 2 scores,
and they came back and tied the game.
It's
crazy.
I saw my buddy.
It's crazy.
I have a buddy I went to college with. He's from Southern California, big UCLA fan, and he sent me a statistic yesterday that said, technically, there is a way for UCLA to still win the Big Ten.
Yeah, if
they win out. So that's
I'm still in the boat.
What is the betting odds on that?
They can't be very good.
Listen,
plus 100,000.
I do think when it comes to the college football playoff that I do think that there should be 3 lost teams in this year, depending on who those 3 lost teams are.
I was going to say they would have to have some very tough quality losses, which is a term I go back and forth on whether I really like. That
I just think the SEC is so deep this year with so many ranked teams. I mean, Oklahoma, I'm pretty sure is playing a ranked team the rest of the year. Now, obviously, they lost to Texas, and that was not the best loss in the world, but it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously, Indiana is, in my opinion, I think that win with Oregon, it does not matter the rest of the way. As long as they don't have more than 2 losses, I think they're in for sure.
Especially winning on the road. I think that's the best.
That's the most impressive win of the year so far.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's the most impressive win of the year. They certainly have an argument to be the number 1 team in the land.
Absolutely.
Because for me, when I make college football rankings and I try and think about polls, if I had a vote, which I most certainly do not, it's only this year.
Your vote's the only one that matters to me, Patrick.
Thank you, Chris. But what has happened this year? I don't like to think about history or, you put them in the top 10, they always lose.
Yeah.
What is this year? The one exception I make to that rule is if you are the defending national champion and you are still undefeated, you get to be number one. I get that.
Sure.
So that, I mean, Ohio State, until someone beats them, they're going to be number one. Miami and Indiana do have solid arguments that they should be number one. So I fully understand why that is the top three. And who would have guessed 18 months ago, Indiana would be ranked number 3
Pretty
above
insane.
every SEC team? Not most of them, all of them.
I saw that this is the highest they've been ranked before too, so that's good for them.
I will say, I know that Illinois lost to Ohio State. I do think that Illinois got a little bit penalized, right? Like I think
dropped
that Illinois is
completely
still a
out.
top 25 team. That's just my opinion. I think my problem I have with the rankings, and I saw a tweet about this, Notre Dame has 2 losses. I get that they lost to both Miami and Texas A&M, and those games were closer, but they're ranked 13th in the country with 2 losses. And to me, I do feel like there is some bias with, hey, they're Notre Dame. I know that Patrick's not going to like this because he's a Notre Dame fan.
I'm objective. I can be objective.
I know you're objective. Just like I can be objective about Ohio State. I do think that Illinois. Now, granted, Illinois got just the breaks. Whatever.
I'm just messing with
The
you.
breaks beaten off of them by Indiana. But I was impressed that Illinois, they could have easily just rolled over when Ohio State went up, it was 20-0, I think, or
Yep.
something like that. Illinois showed some fight at home. Like, Ohio State's a really good team. They're obviously the best team in the country right now. So, I don't know. That's just kind of what jumped out to me is like, why is Notre Dame being rewarded 13th in the country when they don't really have a signature win on their schedule so far?
No.
Yet Illinois is out of the rankings, and they've lost to number 1 and number 3.
And USC jumped back in, and Illinois beat them.
Well, I was
So
going to
that's-
say, for the rankings purposes, I will sit here and say the Illini have more of a leg to stand on beef-wise with being behind USC. Because, I mean, head-to-head is what should be an ultimate tiebreaker. We can talk about resumes all day long. If you have played on the field
Sure.
and one team has won, you should be ahead of them. That's what should matter the most. That's the whole reason the playoff was created in the first place. Where I don't think they have a leg to stand on, sorry Illini fans, is, yes, Notre Dame does not have a signature win outside of those, I think, combined 4-point losses to Miami, one of them being on the road, and then again to A&M, a game they should have won, mind you, and they would easily be in the top 10 if they had won that game.
Sure.
Notre Dame doesn't have a standout win. Neither does really the Illini. That
No.
really jumps out at you. I mean, their wins this year are Western Illinois,
Their best win's probably at Duke.
at Duke, which I would agree is their best win, shut out Western Michigan at home, a 53-point loss. If they had just lost by 20 or
Sure.
30,
I agree.
You lose by 53. I will say the USC, they should be ranked above USC. If neither of them were ranked, I would be fine with that. But I mean, then their only other quality win after that was Purdue. Now they've got a great chance with Washington in 2 weeks, and that's really their only chance left for a superb quality win. Maryland would be a nice win. Looking at that later in November.
Maryland's quarterback, really like him a lot.
Yes.
I think his name is Malik Washington, I believe. I think he's going to be a really good player in the NFL someday.
Yes.
I think he's a freshman, maybe. He's going to be very good down the line.
I will also say, I will acknowledge as a Notre Dame fan, anytime it's close, the brand and the money and the eyeballs that come with Notre Dame, they're always going to get that.
And I love Notre Dame. I love Marcus Freeman.
It's a reality.
I did see that tweet, and I was thinking about that. I'm like, you know what? That's kind of a valid case.
Yeah.
Solid Week 8 slate. We've got a couple good ranked matchups. We have LSU heading to Vandy. Odds makers anticipate that one being a close game. You have Oklahoma going to South Carolina in a decent SEC matchup. You have Texas A&M going to Arkansas. You have Ole Miss and Georgia in a top 10 matchup. I think that's going to be an excellent football game. And then you have Tennessee and Alabama. So a lot of really good SEC matchups.
Yep.
I think a lot of games that are going to be very close. So I'm really excited. Now, I don't know how much college football I'm going to be watching on Saturday because I'll be in Athens, Ohio on Saturday, and I'm going to be watching my Bobcats take on Northern Illinois. So after Northern Illinois tried to leave the MAC, so I hope that Ohio just beats just pummels them. But we'll see. My Bobcats had a head-scratching loss against Ball State a couple weeks ago. That did not sit well with me at all.
The game I'm looking forward to most this weekend is that Utah BYU, that 2 top 25.
What is that, like the holy game? Is
Yeah,
that
the
what they call it?
holy
that's a big
war,
rivalry.
holy game,
Yeah.
something like that.
That's going to be a really good game.
The battle of Utah with Brigham Young, but those are two football teams that have looked pretty good this whole season, and that competition, both being from Utah, it's a long, obviously it has a whole name.
Yeah.
So that's the game that's kind of I'm going to keep my eye on the most.
Two of the best atmospheres in college football is Utah and BYU. BYU just had the come-from-behind victory on the road against Arizona. They scored a touchdown to force overtime. They won that game. I was up watching that. I was like, man, this BYU team is good. They can really run the football. They've got a freshman quarterback who's a dual threat. BYU undefeated. Clearly, if they were to win out, they are absolutely going to be in the college football playoff, in my opinion, obviously, if they go undefeated. So that'll be a good game as well.
Well, we are going to take another quick short break here after this college segment. We're going to be back with a little bit of our NFL.
We're going
and
to talk about how about
football.
them Cowboys?
Oh, Lord. But
I'm so glad Alex is off today. He would have been insufferable.
Alex is a Panthers fan. if people didn't know.
Yes, and he would have been in every right to. I mean, Matt Eberflus, good Lord. I'm going to say my one thing about Matt Eberflus. I know the Cowboys defense isn't great. He doesn't have great personnel to work with right now. On 4th and 3 on that last drive, where they have hit the quick slant for the first down, the two cornerbacks for the Dallas Cowboys are playing like 8 yards off on 4th and 3. That is a fireable offense.
well,
That's my spiel.
thank you for that. We will be back here with some more NFL after this break. Hello and welcome back to the CI Sports Zone. I'm Christopher Huslick. Joining with me is my co-host, Thomas Garverick. Our good pal, Alex Berger, is not here today. He thought he had other things to do, apparently.
He's got the day off.
Yeah, he has to work
He's
on
earned it.
Saturday, so yeah, he's going to much deserved day off, so we are going to miss him. But, Thomas, NFL weekend, man.
It's my favorite segment every week. when we get to talk about NFL.
Mine too.
I do love talking high school sports in this area. Love it. Love talking college football, but man, NFL and fantasy, it's just it's a whole different ballgame.
Well, you and I are against each other this week in fantasy.
Yeah.
It is coming
And it's
down
coming
to
down to the
tonight's
wire.
games.
How about that?
I am down 8 points. I still have Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt and
Bill,
the Bills defense.
JCM.
And the Bills defense. And you have Drake London, I believe.
I have Drake London. I'm up by 8. The odds are saying that I have a 62% chance of winning, which I don't necessarily agree with that because I'm only projected to beat you by 3 points. But anything can happen. We'll see.
It's a good matchup. Actually, honestly, it was a terrible matchup between us. We've been two of the better scoring. You kind of got plagued with
my
injuries.
team has had-
and now I'm getting plagued with the injury bug. I had a really good start. I'm 4-1 right now.
Yeah, I got Drake May sitting on my bench. I chose to start Jordan Love in a really good matchup with the Bengals, but unfortunately, the Packers offense, they only scored 27 points, which is still fine in NFL terms. But the problem is Jordan Love only threw one touchdown pass. So
And then I put in Tyquan Thornton because he's been
who didn't have a catch
who's
last
been
night?
playing really
He didn't
well.
have a catch on Sunday night. It's
And
ridiculous.
I will tell you, after this week, I am never going to put him in again. Rashee Rice will be back.
Yep. I've been patiently waiting.
Thomas drafted him right before I could. I was kind of sad.
Patiently waiting. That's okay. We can make a trade.
Yeah, I'll give you Tyquan Thornton. Kind of looking at some of the games, we had that Monday game, which we all know how that went. Rough game for the Kansas City Chiefs. They did end up bouncing back last night. We'll get to that game here in a little bit. I just want to brief on the Chiefs Jags. We don't tend to spend a lot of time on Monday night games. Great game by the Jags coming.
Yeah, I've
Trevor
been really
Lawrence
impressed
looked
with them.
really
Liam
good.
Cohen's done a good job with them. Obviously, they lost to the Seahawks on Sunday in that early window, but yeah, obviously the Chiefs bounced back, and we're going to get to that. I think the biggest concern to me is the fact that the Eagles just got throttled on Thursday night football.
Oh my goodness, the Giant. Here's the thing.
that was bad.
My girlfriend asked me on last Tuesday who she should start with, like Jackson Dart. She has Jackson Dart,
Your
Jordan
girlfriend
Love.
plays fantasy football?
Yes, she's in my family's fantasy football. Yeah,
Wonderful.
And
We love
Kayla,
that.
yeah, it's her first year, and she's lost one game so far. So
Really? Good for
yeah,
her.
she did a lot
That's
of
awesome.
research. She's been doing really well. It's fun to see. She faces me next week, so unfortunately she's going down because I am undefeated in that league. And I was kind of hesitant when she asked me about Jackson Dart. I'm like, I'm never going to be hesitant again, all right? If you have Jackson Dart, I'm on the hill, put him in, All right,
Yeah.
he's proved every week he's played he is a good football player. He's putting up fantasy points. He is helping these Giants win football games. Cam Scattaboo, same thing. That dude runs like a Mack truck. All right,
He's got to be your favorite player.
Oh man,
You love him.
I love.
He is a Christopher Huzla kind of guy.
First of all, he's like 5'5", yoked, and hits a round off backflip after
Did
he
you see the
scores a
post game
touchdown.
with him and Ryan Fitzpatrick?
And they ripped off their shirts. That is the most Ryan Fitzpatrick thing I've ever seen in my life. Also another guy I absolutely love. If they had a Hall of Fame for backup quarterbacks, he would be in it. I will die on that hill.
100%.
But yeah, great football game and a great win by the Giants. They're
was stunning. That was
they're
a stunning
team, honestly. Playoff thing. I could see it happening. A good run in the playoffs even. Jackson Dart's young, so I wouldn't get my hopes up too much. Cam Scattaboo's young. They're young players, but.
Yeah,
honestly, as a
NFC
Giants fan,
really tough.
As a Giants fan, I'd be pretty happy with what I've seen so
Oh,
far.
you got to be thrilled. If you're Brian Dable in that front office, obviously the clock's been ticking right on them. Like they've had to find a quarterback. I wanted Jackson Dart so badly for my Cleveland Browns. I saw this guy at Ole Miss. He just has the it factor. He just brings the juice. Now, me and my buddies back at home in Ohio, in a fantasy league we play in, we've all agreed though with Jackson Dart. He has got to learn how to protect himself better.
Yep.
He's taken a lot of hits, and he is not a big enough dude to survive all those hits. But if you have picked up Jackson Dart in fantasy football, especially if you're in a league where you can play two quarterbacks, Jackson Dart is an excellent second quarterback option. I picked him up in a league, and I could have started him over Jordan Love, and Jackson Dart would have been a better option. Love Jackson Dart. Cam Scattaboo is a top 10 fantasy football running back right now. I don't know if he finishes there, but I definitely think that Scat is absolutely an RB2 play the rest of the way. So if you have picked either of those Giants rookies for fantasy football purposes, you have to be feeling really good.
Yeah, and then another game that wasn't really so good was the first Sunday morning
not even
game.
gonna talk
We're going to
about
brush by that Broncos-Jets game. I'm glad it was played in London.
Overseas games have just been terrible.
Oh, man, it was
The Jets
awful.
are bad. Oh,
It was, and then the
Justin Fields had like one passing yard in the first half. Like, you guys are professionals. Listen, I love Justin Fields. Went to Ohio State, but it's like, dude, he's just in the pocket holding the ball.
And when he
Clearly,
throws
whatever
it,
they're
it's
running
far
on
too
offense
late.
isn't working. I get that they're not super deep at receiver, but you have Garrett Wilson. Obviously, Pat Surtain shut him down, but it's like that was just pathetic, man. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it.
All right,
The Jets are pathetic.
all right. This
Move
that
on
one's
to
depressing. We're moving on.
How about your boy JSN?
JSN, baby.
And Sam Darnold.
If I win this week, it is solely
because of
because of JSN. He had a 60-yard
He's
touchdown catch.
Absolute superstar.
And then it kind of sucked because he had 20-something points going into half, only ended up getting 7 to 10 more points in that game. But, hey, I will take that.
Are you seriously gonna
I will
complain
take-
here?
I will take that 30 points on my fantasy team.
He got you 30 points, and you're upset because he had 20 at half that he didn't get you another 20?
He could have scored me 40, okay? Now, I'm honestly just kidding. Very good showing, and I'm very pleased with that. Great game,
He's awesome,
I would say,
man.
by the Seahawks.
Number 2 fantasy receiver in fantasy
Oh,
football
yeah,
right
for sure.
now is
That was a good one of my best picks so far. I'm so glad I got him.
Sam Darnold has been a viable fantasy quarterback, and Sam Darnold has been awesome in Seattle. Really happy for him. He had such a rocky start to his career,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
And
he was
to
also
see
on
him-
some pretty
Yeah, he was
pretty
drafted
bad
by the Jets.
teams.
Then he goes to the Panthers, and then he resurrects his career in Minnesota. Minnesota elects to go for J.J. McCarthy, and Seattle signs him. Just awesome stuff for Sam Darnold. And Drake May just continues to showcase
Lord, he is
why.
so fun.
New
to
England
watch.
is really good. Mike Vrabel has been an awesome hire for them. Former Patriot. Drake May is awesome. He's probably going to be my fantasy quarterback going forward. An awesome performance against the Saints. Loved what they did. The Chargers had a gritty win. If you own Devon Achane, you are so happy with Devon Achane. Dude is a absolute stud for fantasy football purposes at the running back position. Danny Dimes and the Colts once again come from behind, beat the Cardinals, who showed a lot of fight without Kyler Murray.
Yep.
Indiana Jones, Danny Dimes, just continues to have a really good season for them. We mentioned the Cowboys.
That was
Dak Prescott would be a top 3 MVP favorite if the Cowboys had just a sliver of defense.
Yeah,
He's been unreal the last 3 weeks. 11 touchdown passes.
I will say I will not take any credit away from the Panthers. I've been kind of impressed with how they've been playing so far this season. I mean, they're 3-3 now.
Yeah.
Yes, 3-3.
Back to 500. That was a big win for them.
And
Big win.
Bryce Young was looking really good. Xavier, I can't ever say Leggett, however you say that receiver.
Xavier Leggett. Yeah, you got it. You got
okay.
it. There you go.
He's been really fun to watch. A good player. And so that I'm really excited for Alex Berger.
Big Panthers fan. Keep pounding.
I'm happy his team is doing pretty good. And like you said, Drake May's looking really good. The Steelers somehow keep finding a way. With 57-year-old Aaron Rodgers at the helm.
Well, I don't know. Against my Cleveland Browns, I don't really know if they really had to find a way. They just had to be a little bit better. I mean, the Browns, I've said this, like, obviously Sunday's result, Dylan Gabriel struggled. The Steelers' defense has always historically played really well against rookie quarterbacks, and they just made Dylan Gabriel and the Browns very uncomfortable. They couldn't run the ball with Quinshon Judkins, but I'm okay with the Browns season. Like, I don't want them to win. I know people are like, are you a real fan then? Like, yes, but they need a quarterback. Yeah. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's that guy. I don't think Shador's that guy. They got them late in the draft. The Browns have had a really good draft so far. I've liked the fact that they have 2 first-round picks. So I'm cool with them, just growing the guys that they have right now with Quinshon Judkins and Sampson. Harold Fannin has been a really good pick as their tight end. He's probably going to be the full-time starter next year. But, yeah, I mean, the Steelers, with Aaron Rodgers, they have 1 loss, and they are the clear favorites to win the North because the Ravens are just atrocious.
Mike Tomlin, year after year, finds a way to have a winning record no matter
this is
what.
The best quarterback that they've had in years.
Since Big Ben left, probably.
Exactly. But I think, for me personally, I think the story of the weekend on Sunday was Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Chiefs, and I was very impressed with Kansas City. They're probably, the second biggest winner of the weekend, in my opinion. But the fact that, and I get that the 49ers were very injured as well. Mac Jones is not 100%, and he played his butt off again.
Fred Warner is now
out for the season, which is terrible. You got Bill Callahan getting fired for the Titans today. He's the first NFL head coach to get fired. But to me, after 6 weeks of the NFL season, despite the games tonight on Monday Night Football, if I had an MVP vote, it's Baker Mayfield.
Mine too.
And here's why. Baker Mayfield, that 49ers-Bucks game could have gone either way. Tampa's defense could not stop Mac Jones in that offense. It was a close game. Emeka Egbuka goes down. My ride or die. My heart is broken. Sources are saying he might miss some time. Baker Mayfield won that game through touchdown passes to Cameron Johnson,
who? No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. Seriously, no one has heard of this guy. And Tez Johnson, a rookie for them from Oregon. Baker Mayfield was down Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and then Emeka Egbuka, and he still found a way to win this game, and Bucky Irving. He was down arguably his best 5 players on offense.
Well, going into that game,
and he found a way to win.
Their biggest point on ESPN, the morning show, was that both of these teams were highly injured teams, and it's just the Buccaneers.
Kyle Shanahan has done a great job with this Niners team. I guess I saw a report that Jawan Jennings for the Niners is playing with like multiple broken ribs.
Yeah, it's that,
right. Ricky Pearsall's out.
I don't know.
Ayuk's still out. Kittle's still out.
I don't know what the 49ers did to the karma overlookers. Okay, but
Purdy's still out.
They
and somehow CMC hasn't got hurt yet.
They have the worst injury luck I have ever seen, and it sucks for them because they still find a way to win.
Yeah.
And well, except with the obviously.
Right. I mean, the injuries are just piling up for them, and the job that Baker Mayfield has done. Everybody thought he was coming off such a great year with Tampa last year. There's going to be some regression. Liam Cohen not there anymore, right? And Baker has been just as good, if not better. I mean, he had a run in that game on Sunday, 3rd and 14. eluded a sack, ducked out of it, and then reached out and
Yeah,
scrambled
that
15
was
yards for first
impressive.
down. And Jim Nantz literally was like, impossible, right? Jim Nantz is like, this is Baker Mayfield. But just really impressed with Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. The fact that, I mean, they're playing second, third stringers at positions on offense, at important skilled positions, and finding ways to win. And then a big night, really quickly, for your Kansas City Chiefs, Christopher.
Let's go.
Everybody said, "Oh, the Lions should be the favorites in this game."
You were everybody. I'm just
No,
kidding.
I honestly that was a great bounce back spot for the
Yeah.
Chiefs at home. The offense has been playing much better, and the Chiefs' offense of old really
Patrick
showcased
Mahomes
last
looked
night.
so good, and
He looked great.
Here, that defense is the most confusing thing I've ever seen because they play like utter garbage against the Jaguars. They look like Swiss cheese with all the holes they have in
Yeah.
that defense. And then they come up against what people are saying is one of the best offenses in the NFL.
Oh, I would say Detroit's offense is the best right
Well,
now.
and that's why, and they give up 17 points.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you be so vastly different? Also, the Chiefs didn't have an accepted penalty, and they punted one time. So it's like the Chiefs.
They didn't beat themselves.
The Chiefs played a very good game, and I was about to get to that. When they don't throw interceptions in the red zone, and they actually put the ball in the end zone when they're down there,
Yeah.
they win football games.
Yeah.
It's just the Chiefs have been beating themselves all season, and. Now, granted, I'm not taking anything away from the teams who have beaten them. They've lost to good football teams.
Sure.
But it was just a great bounce back win. And I think with Rashee Rice coming back this next week, Kansas City's about to start exposing defenses a little bit more. They had Tyquan Thornton, who I don't know what happened to him, didn't have a single catch, who had been kind of helping.
I think it's just the
But-
way that Chiefs offense
yeah,
is designed.
he's-
I mean, you have
he's-
so many mouths to feed, right? You have Kelsey. I
And-
mean, Juju is still contributing. Hollywood Brown had a good game last night.
Yeah. And like with the addition of Rice, I think we see a little bit more out of Travis Kelce and Noah Gray with those underneath routes. People are going to have to go back to that two deep safety because you have Worthy and Rice on who you have to account for deep down the field. So I'm thinking Brashard Smith, Pacheco, all those
Yeah.
short, and I expect to also kind of see that run game start to break open a little bit more
Sure. Yeah.
because Mahomes being the leading rusher each game is kind of a problem. You
Yeah.
can't be having that. But I think with
Pacheco, that was definitely his best game
Yeah.
of the year last night. The numbers aren't sexy, right? 12 carries, 51 yards, but I felt like I saw the old Isaiah Pacheco.
Running
right,
like
in
he
that big
hates the
breakout
ground.
year. Yeah. And so I'm back in on the Chiefs. You know, I was concerned about them, but because obviously the offense hasn't been the same the last couple of seasons, but whatever Andy Reid and that offense is doing right now, it's working. And Patrick Mahomes is the number one fantasy football quarterback after a couple down years.
and you know whose fantasy team he's on?
He's on yours.
Mine.
You know what's funny is I boycotted him in all of my leagues this year, and I'm really regretting that because Patrick Mahomes looks really good. So, all right, Monday Night Football, 2 games.
Monday night. Let me pull up. Oh, I haven't done. Oh, there it is. We got our pick'em.
It's embarrassing.
Thomas, you just cannot get lucky.
This is week 6, and I'm 2-3.
Alex is 1 point behind me. As we said, Alex was not able to join us, so we're going to start with his pick. He sent us in a little video, so I'm going to play that.
He's sending a
Wish I could be
video.
there with you guys, but I will give you my picks. I'm going to go with Bills for the early game, and I'm going to go with Bears for the later game. I think the Bills will clean up the Falcons, and I think that the Bears will get the revenge on the Commanders from that Hail Mary game last year. So those are my picks.
So,
That's awesome.
so you see it there.
That's awesome.
Alex with his 2 picks. I'll go this time, Thomas. I'll let you think on it a little. You need to get the juices flowing. We
Clearly,
need
because
you to get a
whatever
win.
I'm doing is not right.
I'd hate to rob you of a pizza, man. No,
Yeah.
actually,
it
no,
sounds
I
like I'm
wouldn't.
going to be buying all of us a pizza. Is what I'm getting at.
So I'm Bills Falcons. I'm taking the Bills. That Bills team is really good.
Okay.
Commanders Bears. Give me the Commanders at home.
Okay. I'm gonna go. So Falcons and Commanders are both underdogs Falcons and Bears are both underdogs in this game, in these Monday night games. I'm gonna go. Give me the Falcons at home. The Bills have showed some cracks. I think the Falcons pull off an upset tonight, and then I'll go with Commanders against the Bears at home.
Commanders Bears. Okay.
So I'm going Falcons, Commanders. Give me both home teams. Let's hope that the home teams take care of business. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and so thank you guys so much for joining us. Another great episode. We appreciate all your guys' help, and We will see you again next Monday, and let's hope Thomas can get a couple of wins in the books.